Hi everyone! In case you didn't watch part 1 of this series, my name is Theodore Chow, but most people call me Theo. I am a sophomore at Columbia University in New York City. Before this I went to Renaissance College in Hong Kong, and I'm intending to major in psychology and economics. This video is going to be the second part of the Student Globetrotters series. It's going to be about my experience moving to New York from Hong Kong, living in the dorms, and making friends.
1, 2, 3, let's go!
Firstly, moving to New York, for me I didn't have the biggest adjustment to make just because I have been to New York multiple times before and I sort of knew the area beforehand. However, if you haven't been to the city around your college, I would definitely recommend visiting and exploring the area around your university beforehand if you can, just so that you know your way around. Also, I did come from an international school, which meant that there was not that much of a language barrier or a culture shock. However, I do think that the biggest difference between high school and university was how independent you had to be. In university, for example, people are not going to give you things willingly, and you have to go out and get it yourself. The professors, for example, are not going to hold your hand unless you ask them to, and just the idea that you are now in charge of your life and that there's no set curriculum or path for you to follow was quite nerve-wracking, but also exhilarating at the same time. While you do have advisors and upperclassmen who can act as like guides, at the end of the day, it's up to you to figure out what you want to do in your time at university. Secondly, on living in dorms, due to the pandemic, I've stayed both in an apartment and on campus in a dorm the past year. There are definitely pros and cons to each of these. In an apartment, for example, you have your own space, your own bathroom, your own kitchen, but the drawback is that it's probably off campus or further away from campus. This makes it hard when you have to use the school's resources or to meet people who live on campus. Also, there's a lot more thought that needs to go into getting your own apartment because you have to pay rent, you have to figure out your electricity bills, your water bills, and it isn't as streamlined as paying for your dorm. Especially in New York, where rent usually is pretty high, apartments are usually small, most people end up staying on campus all 4 years. Living in a dorm comes with its own set of challenges. While it is close to campus and it's easier to meet people, often the bathrooms and kitchens are communal, and you also may have a roommate, which could be a pro or a con. During the pandemic, living in a dorm meant that it is just statistically easier for you to get COVID just by virtue of the shared living space situation. However, given the fact that school was virtual, I think I did prefer living on campus just because it was easier to meet people and campus was such a central location for everything. Speaking of meeting new people, I know that it can be kind of intimidating to go up to someone and introduce yourself, but honestly I think that it's such a useful skill to have, especially in the beginning of the year where everyone is looking to meet new people and most people are in the exact same position as you are. Everyone is nervous about making the first move, introducing themselves, and I think that was definitely one of the biggest culture shocks that I experienced when I moved to New York, which was how extroverted people are, especially coming from Hong Kong where a lot of people are more introverted by nature. It definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone because I had to acclimate to my environment and actively reach out to meet new people. In all seriousness though, I think that there are so many opportunities to make friends in college, either through clubs or through the dorms or even through classes. A few of my best friends I've made just by virtue of the classes that I was taking because they have shared interests, or the clubs that I've joined. It's all about taking initiative and reaching out to people. Other than these, my university often holds mixers or events that are designed for you to meet new people, and they're always fun to attend. For example, recently I went to an international student mixer, and the fact that everyone was from another country meant that was an easy conversation starter, and it was like super fun to meet new people. Even during COVID, when classes were virtual, people would actively reach out over Instagram or respond to your story just to start a conversation, which could eventually end up in a coffee chat or something. So if we could do it during online school, you can definitely do it when everything is in person. And lastly, if I could leave you with one piece of advice, I would say that college is really a time for you to explore, whether that be through your classes or your hobbies. I think that one of the most important things about college is making friends, because they are what shape your college experience. And as much as people tell you to study and work hard in college, I think that making friends is equally important. Hopefully this series has been helpful for you if you're thinking about going to Columbia or moving to New York for college. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. You can reach me at theodore.chow@columbia.edu, or you can follow me on Instagram at Theodore Chow. Thank you so much.